Hey traders, Nick here on Monday the 10th evening doing some homework. I figured I'd share Alibaba. So I'm a big fan of the fundamentals of this company. It's like 19 price to earnings. I mean, who talks price to earnings of a company that grows this fast? They usually talk about price to sales, and that's 2.8, cheaper than Amazon, which is twice as cheap as Apple. Just to give you an idea how cheap this company is. It's incredibly company. It's an incredible company, produces $100 billion in one day in sales like last November, and when it was 75 billion the year before that, and God knows how much more above the year before that. Clearly, it can earn. What it's down on is political pressure. So Alibaba, left alone without headlines, should make a recovery on the on the weekly chart. This one is going to 260, 280. It has a path. Nothing will happen until it snaps out of this descending lower high and lower low trend. And let me tell you my experiences as to what happened. What happens, how they snap out of it. First of all, when you have a company saying falling in a descending channel, lower highs and lower lows, you can see it, lower highs and lower lows. Step one, to make a bottom, none of this stuff that happens in Reddit. I mean, that's pretty cool, but that's not normal and too violent. Step one is stop making new lows. That's step one. Step two, start making new higher lows. This can continue. And in fact, that's where the battle happens. When the lower highs meets the higher lows, then they decide either revert and lose the floor or start making higher lows and higher highs to then now develop an ascending trend. So you have the recovery rally looking like this. That is a proper bottom that lasts a long time. Okay, so you're saying, oh great, we have step one done. Okay, yes we do, but we did here, we did here, we did here, and then what they did is they lost that battle on the bounce when they met, and then they made a new low, and suddenly the new low becomes a new problem. I'm not making the stuff up. That's how it works in real life. So in fact, I'll show you, now that I think about it, I'll show you a real life example from today in the live session trading. When we traded the SPY, we nailed the SPY with a monster win today on a bad day in the market, which made the day okay for somebody that traded intraday. Not everybody can do that, but I'll show you how it works on any time frame. This is a daily chart, nothing fancy. So where's the battle next? Last week I said Alibaba down here is as long as it holds this, is an attempt to get to from 195 to 270 in the next 3 months maybe. It's going to take a lot of battles, and it all has to start here. Clearly, that's the one that we talked about. And then this that started too, but it's not a sure thing because now it has to battle this point. Why this point? Because of that. Clearly, that's going to be a battle here at 140. So pay attention to 140. That's probably where this descending lower high, you see it, lower high, going to meet too. So 140 plus or minus a few bucks in the next 2-3 weeks. It's going to be a giant battle. Maybe it doesn't last 3 weeks. Okay. So maybe that'll determine the battle outcome. So there's another coin flip for you. Last one was not so good. The one before it was The one before it was not good. So earnings is a coin flip. But take out earnings, ignore earnings. That's how it should happen. A big battle here. Maybe this will happen before the earnings and will pop up. Then what? Then you take it one level at a time. Okay, we have a gap here. See that gap right there? Oh, people love gaps. It's going to fill the gap. Maybe, maybe not. There's a gap up here that didn't get filled. Gap up here, gap up here. A whole bunch of little gaps here. Not every gap fills. And I wouldn't, I mean, it's nice and it's right there. Yeah, I'll take it. But today's gap filled. I'll show you where. Okay, so that's how it works. Pay attention that you cannot do, if I'm long and it makes a lower, it breaks through this, it's going to like 88. I'd be out. Forget it. I'll try later if I want to. So every pop is getting sold at what point? In this case, I think the 140 plus or minus, this box is your battle zone. So you're saying this horse crap. That doesn't work. Okay, so this is today. This is what I share all day with, I don't know, today we had 180 people. Friday we had 206 people, 205. So this is the rally we nailed today. This is a 5-minute chart on the SPY. Bad day. I told you it was a bad day in the beginning, and then they closed flattish red, which was great. So somewhere in here, we hit a wall. We were making lower high, lower lows. I said, we're in upticks mode. You can't trust the upticks. Can't try. If you put 1 minute, you'll see them all upticks being sold. And then we finally made a low in here, and then we started making progress. And in here, so the progress met the battle zones. And then I said, okay, we're going to dip a little bit. But then what the bears didn't figure out from here to here, that this upticks mode flipped to downticks mode, to where the bears cannot trust the downticks. So if you consider Alibaba was falling here, this is the example that looks like Alibaba. We had a descending channel. They bottomed, and then they started building higher lows. They met this problem area. That's the 140 Alibaba. They poked above it, tested it for footing, poop, and then the bears didn't know what hit them. And suddenly they're trying to short something that completely flipped. NASDAQ, same scenario. So this stuff works on any time frame. Any time frame. So the SPX gap did fill late in the day. Look at that. If you traded today, we got long. I got long. I said I'm taking longs here. I sold put spreads, which is a bullish position, and then it did this. And then somewhere in here, I said, okay, I'm adding calls, and then it did this. So I chose to close my calls at the end of the day instead of taking them overnight. So I missed out on that last burst, but I'm okay. In fact, I didn't. I reloaded a small position for a sandwich, basically. In SPX here, from here to here, I thought they would fill the gap, and it did. So filling the gap works, going back to Alibaba. But it wasn't the reason why I got long until they started into it. So I was like, okay, now they can fill the gap. And then I said, all right, now we're in the gap. I can get long. And it went into the gap. But that was not the reason I got long down here. Not because there was a gap up there. I got long because I saw the progress against the bottom and the behavior. And we used 30-second charts, believe it or not, to have the advantage when people, with 30-second charts, you see details that other people don't. Like this bottom. It doesn't look like a bottom on a 5-minute charts, but it does look on a 15-second and 30-second chart. You can definitely see it. So anyway, back to Alibaba. Where is it? Right here. This Alibaba, great company. I sure hope it bounces out of there, because, man, the recovery is going to be something. Let's say China says, oh, we're not going to ask Alibaba to delist. In fact, it's free to stay in the U.S. listed markets. All the way to the top. It won't even stop or go. Signing out.